is our friend Bobby Schilling. Bobby, good morning to you.
Well, good morning. Good to be on, guys.
Good to have you. You know, I was thinking of you last night. We were talking about dinner, and the thought of a calzone came up, and I remember you were kind enough to bring a couple of those fine calzones that you make over here for Scott and I, and believe me, that's a tough act to follow.
You know, we're going to have to do that again sometime. I'll bring you one of our more favorites. My son keeps coming up with all these different concoctions, and we'll bring you he calls it the Joe Experience. Joe Schilling Experience pizza. You would just really dig it. It's a nice fat calzone with just about everything in the restaurant on it. Food cost is through the roof, but hey, when the kid's making it, who cares, right?
That's the way I look at things too. Yeah, you've got a date there. We are two very, very willing guinea pigs for trying this one out. No doubt about it.
Well, Bobby saw, reports last week as a roll call said, you know what, Bobby Schilling might be running the 18th Congressional District. May want to run in the special election. We'll see. And then I know you had a news conference on Saturday morning down in Peoria. That's in the 18th District, so a lot of people were saying, hey, he's going to announce, he's going to run. But no, you are not running for the 18th District Congressional seat. In fact, you used that time to endorse somebody else.
Yeah, exactly right. You know, I had a lot of good friends throughout the state of Illinois calling me and asking me to jump in, and you know, a lot of people like the difference between myself and a lot of the other members of Congress, where I gave back $110,000 of my budget, rejected the pension, the health care, things like that. So, you know, it was actually very nice and very humbling to have a lot of the folks. Joe Walsh and others, you know, calling me up saying, hey, jump in, you can do this, you can win this race. And, you know, the big thing for me, guys, is that what I look at is there somebody in there that needs to be taken out? For example, when I ran in 2010, you know, Phil Hare was in there just shoving everything through the Congress against the will of the American people. And, you know, there's a really good guy down there that's actually running, Darin LaHood. He is related to Ray LaHood, but, you know, he's his own man. He's a good, solid fiscal conservative. He actually went as far as the last two rounds. He voted against putting Christine Radonio in. You know, he voted for somebody else for leadership in the Republican Party, which to me that's a sign of leadership, and it's somebody that's not afraid to go against the grain. Right now we need reformers. We need people that are willing to go against the grain, and I believe that Darin LaHood is one of those guys.
How long did it take you to kick that around in your head when the phone started ringing and people started poking you in the ribs a little bit, saying, "Hey, this might be the thing for you"? Like you said, you could win this. You could get involved. You could make a real difference here. Is this something you pondered for a few days, or you knew right away that hey, you know that chapter is closed?
No, you know, I really had to ponder it because look, here's a district that I could go in there and I could really, really make a difference, hit the ground running. I would keep my seniority from when I was in Washington, D.C. a couple years ago, but it was a tough decision. I mean, it's an R11 district. I know probably more than 60% of the district pretty well. The people know who Bobby Schilling is. So it was a tough call. You know, the big thing is that I lived about 30 miles outside the district, you know, which you can run in the district, as I did back in 2010. When you live outside, but you know, it was going to be tough. My wife was, you know, she was just praying and discerning, and she says, you know, I'm behind you whichever way you go. And you know, just we decided that at the last week that we were just going to step back and let another good, solid conservative go in there and take it.
Former Congressman Bobby Schilling with us here. It's Riley and Scott on WROK. Listening to you there, it sounds as if the door would not be closed in the future if an opportunity would present itself for you to get involved politically again, correct?
You know, that's correct. This is all about saving a country. And, you know, that's where my dedication is. That's where my heart is. I don't want to just run for an office to have a title. I want to go in and be able to make a difference. I want to, you know, we're in a lot of trouble, as you guys are well aware. And, you know, if we don't have good people stepping in that aren't afraid to go against leadership and go in there and really try to make some good changes, you know, that we're going to keep going down the same path. That's why we got to step in. Speaking of that, let's assume that you were still sitting in that seat right now. What would be top of mind with you right now? What would you be moving and shaking and commenting on? You know, I think a couple of the big things that you know, we're not seeing is in our district. We're not seeing the member of Congress anywhere to be found. I know that at one point that they were out, you know, going around the district looking at, you know, trying to run for a statewide office. And, you know, I think the key thing is to get on board and help the governor of the state move the state forward. Got a lot of people still moving out of the state of Illinois. That's one of the big problems we've got. It's all about, you what type of an atmosphere that we create as politicians. And I think that is key, is creating an environment to where the people that are here want to stay, and we attract the people from the outside. And right now, I think a lot of the businesses are like, whoa, hey, wait a minute, this Rauner guy is starting to do some things we're liking, and I think that's key. So I think the big thing is it's all about one word. It comes down to, I spoke at a keynoted a Lincoln Day dinner last night in Hancock County, and it all comes down to one word, you guys, and it's called freedom. And I think that's what we do, is we just keep being, freedom fighters and try to make a difference that way. And it's frustrating watching this country and this lack of leadership in Washington, D.C., but at the end of the day, we got to remember God's in control, right?
Yeah. Bobby Schilling with us. It's Riley and Scott here on WROK. Let's talk about the man you endorsed, Darin LaHood, in the 18th Congressional District. He is, I believe, the only declared candidate on the Republican side right now. Others are still considering entering that special election. And people know the name LaHood from his dad, Ray LaHood, who was a congressman for a long time and then served in the Obama administration for a bit as transportation secretary. And Ray was kind of known as a pretty darn moderate Republican. Darin is as you put it, his own man. He's, I would say, quite a bit more conservative than his dad. He got a 100% rating from the ACU back in 2013. So this is not a situation where the like father, like son, necessarily.
Yeah, exactly right. That's the thing I will say about Darin is, heck, I was at an event. It was a fundraiser in Peoria, Illinois, and Ray LaHood was there, and Darin was speaking, and he got up there and he says, look, me and my dad, we disagree on a lot of issues. He says, but he's still my dad. I still love him. He goes, but we're going to probably always disagree on things here. But, he's endorsed by the NRA. I mean, this guy he's as solid as it gets. Look, there's a lot of good candidates in here. Ed Brady, I met him last night. Dan Brady, no relation. Ed is related to Bill Brady. But, we're going to have good, solid candidates. And that's what I tell people. I was telling them my message last night, because those voters are going to be supporting somebody in that race. I said, look, don't listen to all the mantra about, this guy did this, and their family, and so on and so forth. Let's listen to the ideas that come to the table. How do we fix America? And, and if we do that, and these guys run good, solid, clean races, I think it'd be solid. But there's some good candidates. There's some good men there. I'd like to see more gals get engaged in this system. Which, they are starting to a little bit. But I think Darin is definitely the top guy. He's got the experience that's there and can really make a difference out in Washington.
It's always interesting, too, to see, the almost like the Rand and Ron Paul dynamic here. Yeah, my dad and I love my dad. We're close. We'll hang out, we'll fish, but we are different people, and we see things differently.
You bet. And, I think Darin would love to maybe get on your guys' show. I told him about you guys yesterday. I said I'm going to be on their show tomorrow. So they're great people. He goes, yeah, I'd love to. It's out of the district. Love to get on here anyway.
Perfect. We'd love to talk to him sometime in the very near future. Now, before we let you go, Bobby, there's a little bit of Senate news shaking today. We'd like to get your opinion on that. Mark Kirk has told everybody he is running for re-election in 2016. Now some Democrats are getting together to figure out who's going to run in their primary. It seems as if the first entrant will be Congresswoman Tammy Duckworth, who's getting in today. What's your thought on that?
That's going to be a tough seat. I've actually had people ask me to run a statewide campaign on that. But, the problem we've got is we've got Chicago, Illinois. I don't know how Tammy Duckworth does it. First off, she has no experience whatsoever. She served in our military greatly. She's a wounded warrior. But, this is all about this. What Dick Durbin and all his little minions have done is they've made this a popularity contest. Who's got the most money? Who can get more of their people out there to vote? The problem we've got, we're in a presidential. You've got Chicago. You got all the folks there that they don't care who's on the ticket, as long as those people are going to continue, voting the way that they need them to vote, so they don't have to work. And others like that. So, and I don't want to say not everyone wants to work, but there's a lot of people in this state that are stuck and have been thrown on a system to where it's very advantageous to stay on the system rather than go get a job. And when you do that, when people know that they can vote for more free money versus having to be uncomfortable and go work for a living, they're going to vote for the free living to where they don't have to worry about too many things. And I'm just hoping that as liberal as Senator Kirk is, I'm just hoping that they can mount a good, solid campaign, and I think he can. And I'd like to make sure that the Democrats don't get the seat. Durbin is really counting on this. We'll see if Mr. Durbin is as nice to Mr. Kirk as Kirk was to Durbin during the last primary election.
You want to place any wagers on that?
Yeah, I'd say that all guns are blazing when this one rolls around.
All right, Bobby, as always, we appreciate you taking time out of your schedule. Good to talk to you again, and don't be a stranger, all right? And we're still holding you to that calzone deal.
You got it. We'll see you guys around. Thanks for having me on.